To tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting, November 28th, 2023. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Tauschak.
Present.
Hartman.
Here.
Matsdorf. Here. Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Pankwitz.
Here.
Shilsky.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Next item is the approval of the minutes from October 31st, 2023. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 3 is the update discussion on the Plymouth Dam process, and I'll ask our city administrator, Tim Blakesley, to run through a few things that he has prepared for us here with different options and timelines that I think we're all interested in trying to figure out what our particular options are. So with that, Tim?
Sure, I'll give a brief rundown, and just for the audience, tonight, no decision on the dam is going to be made. We're just strictly talking process tonight. Essentially, council has been prepared several options to decide how to move forward with making a decision on the dam. Just for some background, in 2015, City of Plymouth did receive notice that the Mullet River Dam must be brought into compliance within 10 years, so that's 2025. So certainly that date is coming up quickly. So as part of the 23 budget, we included funding to hire a firm to help prepare options for the dam. At the last our Committee of the Whole meeting, Ayers Associates did present those options for dam replacement or removal. So the next step is really for council to decide on a process moving forward on how to receive public feedback prior to making a decision regarding the dam. So I provided 3 options in there. Certainly these are just draft options provided by staff. There can be amendments made, but some of them do have some timelines that we do need to follow should that be the direction. So option 1 is a public hearing and then followed by council decision. I have a draft timeline that would take place between January and February of next year. Essentially, council would open up a public hearing, receive feedback at the meeting, and then at a subsequent meeting, make a decision on the dam, either removal or replace, and then selecting the option that we would move forward with a removal and replacement option. Option 2 is an open house public hearing and then followed by a council decision. So in this process, we would host a open house for the public. We would likely have several boards with the options that Ayers presented. We would collect feedback from the public. Possibly we'd have a feedback bin or website that people can go online, post feedback, and then we would share that with council at an upcoming meeting. We would then have, again, another public hearing, allow people to come in and speak at a council meeting as well as a way to solicit feedback. And then council would then make a decision on the dam moving forward. And if removal, we would move forward with bids. And then if we decided to replace the dam, a selection on which option to replace the dam with. Option 3 is similar to that, but also includes the possibility of a non-binding advisory referendum. This one does have some date requirements because if referendum was the preferred option, we must finalize referendum language by January 23rd, 2023. So that's coming up relatively quickly. So at the next meeting, we would really need to have a discussion on really language for that referendum. We would need to make a decision on which option we are moving forward with for replacement. Because I think we would want to have a replacement option selected should we move forward with a referendum for have folks to choose between 2 options. I think we would still hold an open house. We would certainly still have a public hearing. With a referendum, there's obviously that's additional staff time of preparing that documentation, flyer, advertisement, et cetera. That referendum would take place during the April election. which is April, that first Tuesday in April.
April 2nd.
April 2nd, first Tuesday in April. Following that, it is a non-binding referendum, and then council would have to make that decision following the April election. So those are just three potential options. Certainly, there could be sort of amalgamations of that, and timelines can shift one way or another. But really want to open up to the committee of the whole and provide some direction on staff on how you'd like to proceed.
Thank you, Tim. Before I open it up, your letter that you've passed around, is that on the city website?
Yes, that's under the
That the
committee of the whole
people are-
packet.
Okay, that people, if they're interested, they can pull that up and see what you're outlining, out in your statement. The, certainly, the time element that we have for, the dam, repair or replacement, was dictated to us, some time ago already. And we're coming up on the process now to go ahead with the choice that we make. I would certainly invite everybody to keep in touch with what's on our website, and also to be aware of any printed material that we can put in the public arena for that as well. And as Tim said, the public hearing would be in January. We would have, I think it's important for you to make known to the council members what your interests are. And I think that we want to hear from the constituents on that, to how important it is or isn't to you, and the whichever direction we go, we'll have to figure that out in our finances and so on that come about. So I think at this point, we're not having a discussion with the public tonight, but we want you certainly to put it on your calendar for the public meeting in January. So with that, committee of the whole is for council members, and I would certainly entertain any comments that council members would have on this project. And we could go around the room. John, if you want to start it off, we'll go left and go right.
Okay, well, I guess I'm in favor of acting more quickly than delaying the process. Unless I read everybody differently or incorrectly, I think we're gonna probably vote to replace the dam. That's pretty much a consensus. So it's a matter of picking which option there is. You know, just to be honest with everybody, if there were different circumstances where we own the land underneath the water, which the city does not, I'd probably be in favor of taking out the dam and establishing a park. But given the complexities of land ownership and other things, the fact that there's so many people living right on the shoreline now, I think we probably have little choice but to replace the dam is probably the option we're gonna choose. And given that, I really don't see a need for referendum unless I'm totally missing the point. I don't know. I just want to get it over with and get people settled down so they know what's coming and take it from there.
Thank you. Angie?
Yep, agree with John. I don't think we need to go referendum route. I don't know if I've heard of anybody that was adamant about replacing or removing the dam. I do think, though, the open house is really important, especially to hear more details about the three different options we have for replacing. There were some big price points
The
between.
designs,
Yep.
yeah. David?
Well, I personally haven't made a decision one way or the other whether I would, which way I would go. So I think a referendum would be helpful. I think it'd be useful to hear from people all over the city and what they think and how we spend the money, the cost and everything, and if they're okay with it. Certainly if if the majority of the people in the city think that it's a good idea, I would be okay with that. But I really don't know what the feeling is out there, I guess. So I would be in favor of a referendum personally.
Greg?
Yeah, I'm in favor of a referendum, always have been. This is not normal city business. This is what referendums are for, because we're spending a lot of money on something that the people shouldn't be involved with, should be involved with. Just like school referendums or state referendums, county referendums. This is something of, this dam is something that'll be there, I think, long after every one of us are gone. So this is a big decision. You know, the money's a lot less than what I thought it would be. I was for taking it out until I seen the costs and the amount of money that's gonna be spent, and I'm, just wanna put it out there, I'm still in favor of referendum and hearing from the people, but I am for putting the dam back.
Thank you. Jeff?
I would agree. I would like to see the dam replaced. I'm not really in favor of a referendum at this time. I guess I would like to see the information that we get at these public open houses and discussions here, and then maybe that would sway my decision. I guess I would hold more, I guess, the residents that live along that area, I think we should really listen to them versus somebody that lives where it doesn't affect them as much. But at this point, to me, it'd be interesting to see what we're going to find out at the public meetings.
Thank you. Diane?
I would be at this time in favor of a referendum, simply because it's money spent by the taxpayer, and so they should have a say-so. But I do agree that the dam should be replaced.
Mike?
I like option 2. I would like to be at a public hearing where I can listen to the folks, what their opinions are. And I fear if it's a referendum, you might not have people that are educated on the alternatives. I'm in favor of putting new gates in. I'm not in favor of taking out the dam because of the expense of purchasing property that goes from the people's homes to the middle of the river. So I would like, of the 3 options, I would like to see the one that has the easiest operation and the one we're gonna get the most life out of.
Thank you. Bob?
I am not in favor of referendum, definitely in favor of replacing the dam. And of course, the open houses would be great to hear from, there's a lot of river people here tonight to, somebody blurted out $10 million when we first started talking about this, and I was all for the referendum, like, that's a lot of money. Well, what are we talking, 2.5 with $1 million from the state already? It's not a lot of money in the big scheme of things. So, that's my opinion.
Replace, no referendum. I guess my only comment to summarize, so that we move on to the council meeting shortly. I look at this project, and it is a big project. We don't have, for instance, it's a 2.5 million, we have $1 million in the state budget, so it's 1.5. We've got larger projects than that, that are road, sewer, and water projects in the city, and we don't go to referendum on them. I think that we as council members will hear from our constituents that we can look at the advice we get from staff and also the fact that this is part of what Plymouth is. I don't have a problem recognizing that the referendum might give some substantial direction. I feel the referendum is probably going to come in 90% to replace the dam and keep it. We don't know the cost of a referendum yet at this point, but there is a cost involved in it, and I think that money would be better spent doing what is the right thing to do in this case to replace the dam. Certainly, option 2, with all the public meetings and hearings and so on, I think is very important. And certainly, I think, Tim, you've outlined a good 1, 2, 3 to do that. So I feel that we'll have a lot of information very quickly so that we can move forward and start putting the package together. This will be a bond issue. We don't have that money in the cookie jar, just like a lot of other things. And we'll probably combine it with other high price tag items in the coming year, both on the city side and on the utility side. We've got some major projects coming. And there too, staff presents, analyzes those, presents them to us and says, vote on it. This is what we'd like to do to maintain services and the aesthetics to the community. This is a road improvement from the standpoint that the mill pond is used all the time by a lot of people that kayak. The Mill Pond Committee put in the kayak launch. The school uses it. There's a lot of use. People come from out of town to kayak on the Mill Pond. I feel that we would be setting the city back 50 years if we took that dam out. So, you heard the comments of the council members. Make your comments known to them. City Hall will certainly receive them, email or mail. But I think we'll be moving forward rather quickly to stay on the timeline that we have to. And we've spent several dollars already on this report. I think it was very thorough. I think he did a good job to present the facts to us, and we'll see where it goes. But stay tuned is probably the way to say that, and things will be on our website. So with that, do we have any other closing comments from the council members?
Can I just add, when it comes to picking a date for the open house, that we're cautious of Wisconsin winter?
Yes.
That, you know, if we want, that's where we're gonna get everybody's opinions. If it's a bad day, we should probably be flexible with that date.
Sure.
I won't do my snow dance then. I'll hold
Thanks.
off on that.
I would like to make a motion that we have a vote on whether we have a referendum or not, just put it on the record.
At the proper time, we will do that, but that's not tonight's discussion.
Okay.
We're not having a
We
vote
don't-
tonight. We're trying to have a discussion on the process itself.
Well, that is part of the process, so the referendum is part of the process,
It
correct?
is, but not tonight.
It's not an agenda item.
It's not on the agenda either, so we can't do it if we wanted to.
Okay.
But that will come up probably in January, yes. So you'll be part of the decision as we all are.
Would it be inappropriate to at least get a show of hands by the audience that took the time to come out here tonight? Kind of
The,
get a feeling of what these people came out to.
I will have to overrule that, only because this was a discussion and we're not trying to influence the public at this time. So I would ask not to do that.
So I was asking for the public to show of hands, who's in favor, who's not in favor of it. Not us.
No, I
I
understand,
don't think it's funny,
but
I think it's a real question.
yeah, it is a good question. And if they wanted to raise their hands, I can't tell them not to, but I would not call for that. So I would not do that. Thank you.
And Mayor,
Tim,
just-
any comments?
Yeah, just as a point of clarification, so tonight, again, it's just direction for staff to move forward. Certainly, what I've heard, it's not a unanimous board, but it was a 6-3 board on direction on where to move forward. So staff will prepare option 2, and just to Dave's point, that does not include the referendum, so that's not going to be moving forward. Certainly, Dave, if you're interested in putting that as an action item on an agenda, let me know, and that can be a vote. But that would, what staff hearing here tonight is to move forward with option 2.
And I think that's where we all are at this point. But you can talk with Alder David on that.
Yep,
So,
sounds good.
good. With that, thank you very much. Thank you for the people in the audience that came tonight to hear some of the discussion and our timeline going forward. At this point, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you. David, talk with